Shalom. Most High in Christ bless you and your families and your loved ones. Happy Sabbath. And whether you're catching this live on the Sabbath or on the replay, we want to say shalom and blessings to you. All praises to the Most High. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to get straight into it. The war against the saints. The war against the saints. So now, the war against the saints is not only symbolic. It's both spiritual, physical, but it's executed now through the interconnected global systems. All right? And it's empowered by the proverbial dragon. Okay? The proverbial dragon that you're going to read about, it's empowered by that dragon. All right? So now, Revelation 13, all right, for those of you who Spanish-speaking audiences, Apocalipsis 30, okay? It exposes, did I say that right? Is it 30? 13? 13. Salakia, all right? Revelation 13, it exposes how deception is normalized. All right? How the worship of God is redirected elsewhere. It's redirected from the Father, but it's now directed elsewhere. And how now persecution is legally, economically, religiously, and violently enforced against those that keep the commandments. The commandments of the Most High. All right? So we're going to get into it. So please grab your pens, your notebooks, okay? Take your notes, all right? Good. Let's start from Revelation 13 and verse 1. Give him that one. Give him that one.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns. Come on.
And upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy. All right? We're going to break this down for you. Give me Revelation 17 and verse 15. Revelation 17, verse 15. So you just read in Revelation 13 and 1, it says, John the Revelator, he stood upon the sand of the sea, saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns. Come on, read Revelation 17 and verse 15 now.
Revelation chapter 17 and verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest,
the waters which you saw,
where the whore sitteth, are peoples.
Are what?
Are peoples.
They're people.
And multitudes.
And multitudes.
And nations.
And nations.
And tongues.
And tongues. Good. So, what you got to understand is that the sea is the masses of the people. All right? The nations, the different languages, right, that embody the people. Now the beast, as we always explain to you, is a composite of governing systems, not a single man. Again, the beast is not a man, it's an amalgamation of systems. Okay? Good. The 7 heads, yes, it went into the 7 kingdoms that had empires, but it's also a representation of the 7 legs or arms of the beast. I know in the past I've said like 5, but it's really like, it's more like 7. Okay, so you write this down. The political arm. Okay? The educational arm. the pharmaceutical arm, the financial or the economical arm, the technological arm, the global food system arm, okay? And then the religious systems that control the world. Again, so it's political, educational, pharmaceutical, financial, technological, the global food system, and the religious systems. Okay? So when it talks about the 7 heads, it represents those arms as well. Good. Now the blasphemy that's mentioned in Revelation 30. Read that last part of it. Go back to Revelation 13 and the last part of the verse. 13 and 1. When it says, horns, 10 crowns upon his heads. Come on.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
So those 7 heads, like we mentioned, political, financial, educational, technological. Come on, go ahead.
And upon his horns, 10 crowns.
10 crowns, come on.
And upon his heads, the name of blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy. So like I said, in its original context, yes, it's referring to those 7 nations that have risen and had empires. And those crowns represent their rulership. But also understand that what it's symbolic of, those same 7 nations, of course, they're still around today, right? And so now, more or less, one of those nations, right, the Idumea or Edom, the Romans, the Grecians. Now, who are the New Age Romans today, as you know? Mystery Babylon, America, and there's other nations as well that control these world systems as well. Not just Edom. Let me point that out. It's not just the Edomites that are in control of the world's systems. Okay? But now it says, read the last part about the blasphemy.
And upon his horns, 10 crowns.
10 crowns.
And upon his heads, the name of blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy. So now, like I said, it's symbolic of these arms. Spiritual representation of these arms that control the world systems, the financial, political, educational. All right? And now these other nations as well, including Edom, they control all of the systems that I just mentioned. The financial system, the technological system, the pharmaceutical system. They control it. But here's the thing. So that's the crowns, right? That's the rulership that they have over these systems. But now he says he has the name of what? On the crown what? Name of what?
The name of blasphemy.
The name of blasphemy. Good. So now that blasphemy is going into these systems, how they're built without God's laws in mind. They redefine morality. They redefine life. They redefine family. They redefine health. They redefine truth. And they redefine righteousness. Y'all realize how each one of those things that I listed, whether it's pharmaceutical, technological, educational, religious system, all of these systems have redefined what the truth is supposed to be. I'm going to give you a small example. The pharmaceutical industry says to you what? Rely on pharmakeia, which is when you go into the, what's that, the Latin, that is what, sorcery. It says to rely on that rather than relying on what God said in terms of going to the earth to let the things that come out of the earth be your healing. So it's total reliance on these systems makes these systems devoid of the Most High God. But it's to reshape your mind, to indoctrinate your mind so that you never rely on the Most High and you rely on these different arms of the system. Okay? So again, the blasphemy is going into how these systems were not built on the premise of God's laws, on the premise of God's word. What these systems speak is direct contradiction to what the word speaks. Okay? Because even in the religious system, you take one of the most popular religions on the face of the earth, which is modern day Christianity, it speaks directly against what the scriptures say. Right? You could go to any one of those arms, the arm of technology. Right? The arm of technology says to you that you can now have a portal and a gateway. And now today, let me tell you, the technology is so crazy today, right, Cap, that people solely rely on AI to do all of their thinking for them. Nobody thinks anymore. It's just like, oh, I saw this skit where this gentleman is in a store, in a bodega, and someone walks into the store and he says, oh, what do I say? So he types into AI, what do I say to the store clerk? And AI says to him, good morning, or do you have any toilet paper? Oh yeah, let me type that. Good morning, do you have any? Yeah, good morning, do you have any toilet paper? And the guy at the counter is like, what do I say? Let me ask AI, do we have toilet paper? Well, it depends on if you're stocked with it. Oh yeah, aisle 6. So it's like people are relying just for simple messages, interaction, they rely on this AI. And it's degrading our humanity, like the human factor, the human touch. Oh man, I'm going to get into that though. Okay, so that is the blasphemy, that these systems are not built on the premise of God's laws, but it's designed to derail you from the Most High, whether it redefines morality, it redefines life as you know it, it redefines family, health, truth, righteousness. Families don't even sit down at the table anymore, Cap. They do not sit down at the dinner table anymore and have dinner and talk to one another. You know what they do? One may sit over there, one may sit over there, they're eating, and what are they doing? They're on their phone, scrolling, dead scroll. And it's sucking the life out of our people. But the thing is, it's so subtle that you don't realize it. Okay? So we went to Revelation 17, it defined, and it shows you that the waters that you saw, okay, they are the multitudes, the people. Let's get Psalms 94 and verse 20. So we're going to bounce back and forth from Revelation 13, but we're going to break this thing down properly for you. All right? So we're going to take it nice and easy today. All praises. Psalms chapter 94, verse 20.
Psalms chapter 94 and verse 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?
Which frameth mischief by a law. So these systems come to change and frame the way that we know is supposed to be the truth. They come to redefine and reframe. Understand that. Frameth mischief by a law. Let's get Wisdom of Solomon 14 and verse 16. So these systems, you got to understand, the beast has them in place to redefine everything. But the thing about it is you don't realize there's a war being waged on our people, because you're in the war whether you realize it or not, Brother Daniel. You're in the war and it's being waged against you, whether you know it, realize it, come to understand it or not. Wisdom of Solomon 14 verse 16.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 14 and verse 16. Thus in process of time, an ungodly custom,
so over time, straying away from God. This is what it's talking about, over time. All right, read on.
Grown strong was kept.
Good. So over time, people stray away from God's laws. Okay, they stray away from the Most High God due to the process of time. These systems, as the rulerships of these nations that are ruling get more and more and more power, the more and more our people stray away from God, because guess what? It's by law now that you break the Most High's commandments. It's by law through the process of time. You understand that? That's it on that? That's it on verse 16?
Can.
Okay, good. Let's jump back to Revelation 13 and verse 2. So I want everyone to understand what has happened here, what is happening here. All right, there's a war being waged on our people, and you got to come to understand that thing early.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Okay, like unto a leopard. Read on.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority.
And great authority. Good. So now, this is what you got to understand. When it give me before you go there, the first part of the verse says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard. What do you know about a leopard? First thing that comes to mind when you think about a leopard, the animal, a leopard. Stealth, subtlety. Right? So when sin over time, like we just read in Wisdom of Solomon, through the passage of time, sin gets what? Normalized. But it sneaks in so subtly. Right? The beast makes this thing so normalized that you don't ever realize that, wait, this thing is against God's laws. This thing is against the Bible. And that's why when you speak to people today, when you tell them what they're engaging in is paganism, they're so like, well, I've never heard that before, because sin has been normalized for such a long period of time, through the passage of time. And now, the beast, through one of its arms, right? Religion. Now, if you tell somebody, I'm not going to the pharmacy if I'm feeling sick, I'm not going to go to the pharmacy, they would look at you as though you're crazy. You ain't going to the pharmacy? You're not going to the pharmacy? And you tell them, no, I'm going to take natural supplements. Because pharmacare has been so normalized. That's what it's. The leopard is talking about how subtle, how elusive, how gradual the normalization of sin has become. Okay, now, when it comes to a leopard changing its spots, can a leopard change its spots? Let's see. Give me Jeremiah 13 and 23. Jeremiah 13 and 23. We're going to break this thing down for you. So understand, the book of Revelation is symbolisms, it's metaphors, it's similes, but you got to be able to have the understanding through, of course, learned men who understands the truth. All right? Jeremiah 13 and 23.
Jeremiah chapter 13 and verse 23. Can the Ethiopian change his skin?
In other words, the Lord is saying that, can someone change the color of their skin? Read on.
Or the leopard his spots?
Can the leopard change his spots? Come on.
Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil.
In other words, if a leopard could change its spots, or an Ethiopian could change the color of his skin, his dark skin, then, in other words, people who are accustomed to doing evil, right? Then maybe they could stop doing evil and do good. In other words, there's some people who, no matter what, they cannot, because of their nature, they cannot stop doing what they do, even if they tried, because it wasn't in the books for them. You understand that? There's a scripture that literally says, some persons cannot leave off from their sin. All this is saying is just basically this, right? Can a leopard change its spots? The answer is no. But we just went to Revelation 13 and 2 that says this beast was like unto a what? A leopard, right? Good. So you learned about the subtlety of a leopard, the elusiveness of a leopard. A leopard would actually blend in camouflage, in lying wait of its prey. You wouldn't see it. If you are in the savannah grasslands and a leopard is there looking at you, by the time it attacks you, you wouldn't have realized, because it was looking at you for a very long time. It blended within its atmosphere. its spots and its fur allows it to blend within certain backgrounds that it looks seamless with the background. And so its subtlety and its elusiveness is heightened to a higher level. That gives it now, what I'm trying to show you is this. The nation that controls these systems, they're so elusive. Now, we know Edom is one of those nations that's ruling one of the major world systems. Edom has now always purported themselves to be this nation, that nation, this nation. They're so elusive. And they're so cunning. But they know how to blend well and make you think that they're not a threat. They know how to create these systems that make you think that these systems are good. Anything that they come out with and they put out a commercial for, I've heard this before, Cap. Anything that you see a major commercial for, don't buy it. It's a trap. Meaning, it's consumerism. They're looking to make money. You see all these pharmaceutical commercials that come out, Zyrtec, and you see this woman running through the fields, running through a grass field, talking about, oh, my doctor prescribed for me Zyrtec. And then you're going to hear the disclaimer, come on, if you take Zyrtec, just know that you can suffer blood loss, liver damage, heart damage, kidney failure, and sometimes death. You're like, wait, what? Sometimes death? But mind you, she's running through the field. Mind you, the voiceover is coming on and telling you, and sometimes death. And the commercial looks so nice. She have on a nice white dress and she's playing with the flowers and my doctor prescribed Zyrtec. They're so elusive. And then listen, there's some people who swear by that pill or that drug that it works. Xanax is another one that it makes people lose their wits. But the way that they advertise it, it's so elusive. And that's why even for little things like, for instance, sisters out there, can I speak to you for a moment? For those of you that, you might have just came into the truth. I'm not going to speak to the sisters who've been in the truth because y'all don't take this. But there's a lot of sisters who just either coming into the truth, learning about the truth, or still partially in the world. What's one of the things that a lot of sisters take when they're doing their business? Birth control. Do you know how harmful birth control is? Birth control stops the natural evolution of the egg. That's supposed to be natural. It says a woman is born with all of her eggs at birth. But the thing is, it's so normalized, Cap, that you would just hear a woman say, I'm on birth control. And it's like nothing. You don't realize, wait, what that does to the body? Wow, it's so normalized. But again, the elusiveness, that leopard stealthiness of that beast it makes you just unknown to the fact that these are things that are harmful and there's a war being waged against our people, and our people eat it up and they devour it, and they don't realize that all the systems that the beasts have put in place are to their detriment, not for their benefit. Good. Jump back to Revelation 13 and 2. So the beast which he saw, John the Revelator, right? Now these things, he's seeing this imagery. And he says it was like a leopard. But look what it says about the feet. The feet.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 2.
Uh-huh.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Like unto a leopard.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear.
The feet of a
bear.
Of a bear. So the bear's feet is talking about the brute force. All right? The oppression and the global enforcement. Okay? And you got to understand that through the passage of time, like we mentioned in the wisdom of Solomon, how they were able to normalize a lot of things is by what? Sheer what? What's that? Well, advertising, yes, but even before the advertisement came, like when they went on their conquests, they made people bow down by what? By force. The bear's feet is talking about the brute force. that this beast has the resources to enforce things, to put you to death, or to legalize things, make things law. Like, you just came on a dedication and you learned that in the Grecian era, many of our people had to do what? Leave off from keeping the laws because it was punishable by what? By death. That's the brute force that these systems that are put in place by the beast, they implement. That bear's feet. Now let me tell you something. I don't know if you know about bears. Anybody know about bears? I know here in the Caribbean, they don't have bears. But if you watch Animal Planet, if you watch Discovery Channel, they would tell you that a bear can kill you dead with its paw, with one swipe of the paw. Bow, it breaks your neck. That's the brute force of a bear. This is being likened unto the brute force that the system has to enforce policies that make you go against your nature of being righteous and being natural. They don't want you to be a righteous, natural man. They want you to depend solely on whatever the beast implements. You rely on that. And if you don't, we make you seem like an outcast in society. We make you seem like you're weird. You're not part of society. You understand that? Good. Read on. It says the feet of a bear. Come on.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
The mouth of a lion. So the mouth is talking about its ability, right? This beast, these systems, right? Its ability to do what? Propaganda, laws, okay? That strong mouth, authority, right? There you go. The controlling the narrative, the dominance that comes with controlling the narrative and having the resources to do it. All right? So laws and decrees, propaganda, controlling the narrative, having the dominance to do it. Okay? Read on.
And the dragon.
Oh, and the what?
And the dragon.
Oh, and the dragon. Watch this.
Gave him his power.
Gave the beast its power. Gave the systems that control the world its power. The dragon was the one who gave it its power. Right? So, what is the dragon, Brother Daniel? The dragon is talking about Edom. The nation of Edom. The power and the funding that they have. All right? They were able to now sustain these systems that they implement. Now, we're going to do a little dive into that dragon. Let's get Revelation 12 and 3. Revelation 12 and verse 3.
Revelation chapter 12 and verse 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. And behold, a great red dragon.
A great what?
Red dragon.
A great red dragon. Remember, these are symbolisms, metaphors, and similes. Read on.
Having 7 heads.
Having 7 heads.
And 10 horns.
And 10 horns. Okay, good. Let's go to Genesis 25 and 25. So a great red dragon. Let's see what that's symbolic of.
Genesis chapter 25 and verse 25. And the first came out red all over like an hairy garment.
The first came out red, all right, all over hairy garment, come on.
And they called his name Esau.
They called his name Esau, all right. So, we're going to show you how that red dragon is symbolic of Esau and how that first one that came out red all over like a hairy garment. Let's get Genesis 36 and verse 1.
Genesis chapter 36 and verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau.
These are the generations of Esau.
Who is Edom.
Who is Edom. So all of the descendants of Esau are what? Edom. Edom. Good. Malachi 1 and 4. So pay attention. The red dragon, we went to Genesis 25. That shows you that the first one was red all over like a hairy garment. They call his name Esau. Esau is Edom. Malachi 1 and 4.
Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4. Whereas Edom said,
Whereas Edom, you just learned that Esau is Edom, or the red man of the earth. They call him white, but he's not actually white. White is like a color of a cloud. He's red, okay? He's red all over. Come on. So Edom is Esau, okay? That's the white man of the earth. So it says, whereas what?
Whereas Edom saith,
Whereas Edom saith,
we are impoverished,
we are impoverished,
but we will return and build the desolate places.
but they've sworn to return and build the desolate places. Read on.
Thus said the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness.
So Esau or Edom is the border of wickedness. They're the end-all, be-all of all the wickedness when it comes to the nations of the earth. The Most High created 18 nations, and out of all of the 18 nations, they are the most wicked nation, bar none. Yes, there are many wicked nations. Don't hear what I'm not saying. What I am saying is that Edom, Esau, that red man of the earth that the Bible just describes, he is the most wicked. But it says that he's the wicked of the earth. Read on.
And the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
They are the people that God said he will have hatred for forever. The Lord said he will have, enmity against them forever. These are the people, not person. Because you're going to say, well, it was just referring to Esau the man, the individual. No. It said, these are the what? Read it again. These are the what?
These are the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever.
Good. This says the people. I wanted you to actually focus on that word there when it says these are the people, not person. Okay? Good. So understand this. The red dragon, that's in Revelation chapter 13, okay, and verse 2, is referring to Edom. They're in control of that system, that beast that's being described here for you. Okay? Give me Daniel 7 and 25. Daniel 7 verse 25.
Daniel chapter 7 and verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
Good. He shall speak great words. So you got to understand, this is talking about one of those four beasts, all right, in Daniel 7, all right? So it's one of the four beasts that's mentioned in Daniel 7. But it says, he shall speak great words. Now the he is not referring to a single soul individual. Again, the systems that Esau set up, they speak. So the he, of course, it goes back to the nation that's controlling these systems, but also it's going into the system itself or the beast itself. So it's going to speak great words against the Most High. Right? Read on.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High. And that's how they did it, through their oppressive systems, all the way dating back from every captivity that we've ever been in, come all the way up to today. All right? The oppressive systems, you just learned about the beast that had body like the leopard, feet like the bear, right? It's stealthiness, it's brute force, going into oppressing our people, enforcing ungodly laws on our people. Okay? But it says, and shall wear out the saints. This is how you got worn out, through slavery and through oppression. Again, through slavery and through oppression. All right? But it says, and think to change times and laws. That's going into legalizing things to make you go against God's laws. And you know what? Just a very simple example. Most people get paid on what? Like those people who don't get paid every month usually get paid what? Every what? Friday, right? Every Friday, brothers get paid, and the first thing you go do with your money is you go break the Sabbath. You're going out this evening or you're going out on Saturday because that money just came in on Friday. So understand everything about how things are ran. It was designed to oppress you, keep you in bondage. It was designed to, let me put it this way. Because some of you can say, I ain't in bondage, I just got paid yesterday. Let me put it this way. For those who, a little dense up here. You having money doesn't mean that you're not in bondage. I'll get into that some other time. You having money doesn't mean that you're not in bondage. That's number one. Number two, these systems that are in place, they help to promote the breaking of God's laws, like I just mentioned. Brother gets paid on Friday. The first thing he gonna go do, he's gonna do what? He gonna go break the Sabbath. Friday evening, he out spending money. He in the club spending money that he don't have. He out here tricking on women with money that he don't have. He out here on Saturday buying things, breaking the Sabbath with money that he don't have. It's a vicious cycle. But those who are in charge of the cycle, they know and they understand that they have you on the hamster wheel, and so it's a vicious cycle. Okay? They think to change times and laws. Okay? Let's get Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 10. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 10.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 10. Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Good. So you got to understand the mentality of these systems that are put in place. They're designed to oppress. Read on.
Let us not spare the widow.
Let us not spare the widow. Read on.
Nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the aged.
This goes back to Deuteronomy chapter 28 when it says they show no favor to the young or to the old. Read on.
Let our strength be the law of justice.
Let our strength, meaning our abilities, our things that we put in place. So in other words, they have the ability once in rulership to change whatever they want to change according to their doings. Read on.
For that which is feeble is found to be nothing of worth.
That which is feeble, which is found to be nothing worth. In other words, they don't regard God's laws. Any of these systems of the world don't think that they're in alignment with God's laws. Don't think that they're here to make you have an easier time keeping God's laws. They're not designed for that. They're designed to come against that. That's how they view it. All right? It's feeble and nothing worth. Read on.
Therefore let us lie in wait for the righteous.
But again, leopards don't let you know they're going to attack. But this is their intent. The Bible shows you their intent. Read it again.
Therefore, let us lie in wait for the righteous.
So everything that they have implemented with regard to these systems, be it political, be it educational, be it technological, be it religious, whatever, their aim and end plan and end game is to lay in wait for the righteous. That's why I tell you, there's a war being waged on you, God's people, and whether you know about it or not, it's already been in motion since before you born, since before you were in your mother's womb, since before you were a twinkle in your daddy's eye. Right? Read on.
Because he is not for our turn.
Okay, good. So these scriptures, these laws, they know it's not for them. They know it doesn't pertain to them. So their job is to come against what you was placed in your spirit to do. Serve God, keep his laws. They know it's not for them. That's why everything they do with regard to their systems is to throw you off of that course. They know it ain't for them. Read on.
And he is clean, contrary to our doings.
Because it's contrary to their doings. The things that they like to do, the things that they love, is contrary to what the scripture says. So everything, you got to understand, the depth behind these systems that are put in, they're not there for your benefit. Now, I'm not saying we can't utilize some of the things of the system, because the scriptures also show you to be what? Harmless as a what? Dove, and wise as a what? Serpent. So you must have wisdom in order to utilize certain things within the system, but don't rely on the system as the system being your God. You got to be just as stealthy as, like, you see, it's showing you the thinking behind the system. You got to have 10 steps ahead of that, because you know how it works. When you know how something works, you could stay 10 steps ahead. But you got to know how it works first. You understand that, Brother Daniel? Know how it works first so that you could be 10 steps ahead of it. Okay? Now, I'm not saying you're going to be able to outsmart the system. But there's ways you could get around certain things. But the system was there to wage war on our people. Good. So it says, it's contrary to their doings. Come on.
He upbraideth us with our offending the law.
Okay, good. So they're against God's laws. Come on.
And objecteth to our infamy the transgressings of our education.
Good. So their education is juxtaposed to what we learn in God's laws. Like in the world, their education is what they consider to be the things that's their God. The accolades and the education and the things of the world, that's their God. Right? If you're in society, a man would size you up based on what? What would he size you up based on? Your financial status, which also goes into what? Your educational status, which also goes into what? Where you are in society. Right? So that education of the world is totally contrary to what we are educated with in the truth. It's contrary. It's opposed. It's juxtaposed. All right? Let's go back to Revelation 13 and verse 3. So I'm showing you that through the scriptures, the plan of these systems that are in place, you got to understand it was never made or created with the intent for your benefit. It was made to directly come against the children of God, to oppose them.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Good. One of his heads as if it were wounded to death. Come on.
And his deadly wound was healed.
Now remember what I mentioned to you earlier. I said, although the 7 heads also goes into the 7 ruling nations, yes, but it also goes into the 7 what? Arms of the what? The beast. So you got to pay attention. Don't let it slip over your head. I'm trying to show y'all something here. Read the verse again for me.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
So how many heads does this beast have that's being described? 7. But here we're seeing that one of the heads got what?
Wounded to death.
Good, come on.
And his deadly wound was healed.
But the deadly wound got healed. Okay, read on.
And all the world wondered after the beast.
All the world wondered after the beast. After this thing got wounded and then healed, it made the people wonder or be in amazement. Okay? The amazement turned to acceptance. Let me break that down for you. Now, who could guess which one of the arms or heads of the beast that got wounded? We said the 7 or what? You have educational, political, financial, religious, food systems of the world, right? Which one of those you think here got wounded as unto death? Like everyone thought that it died, but then it didn't die. The wound got healed. It's talking about the financial. There you go. And how that, and I'll break that down for you. How that comes to be is that when the collapse of the global financial market, the collapse of the financial institution happens, right? Everyone is going to wonder if this is the end. What's going on here? The stock market crash, right? Wall Street has crashed. Your favorite local bank, everything comes to a grinding halt. And you're wondering, so I can't get my money out the bank? At that point, no, you won't be able to. But, read it again. Read it again for me.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death.
Okay, so it come to a grinding halt. Come on, everyone thought that system died. Come on.
And his deadly wound was healed.
But then the deadly wound got healed. In other words, it got rebuilt. In other words, it came back more robust. In other words, it came back stronger. So after the global collapse of the financial institutions, is it coming back stronger? Yes or no? Yes, it is. How will it come back stronger? In what form? Now, the fiat currency will eventually be no more. They're going to fully bring on stream digital currency, and they're going to say it's stronger, safer, more robust, it's better. Okay? You have ease of transaction. It's better. Because everyone thought when the global collapse happened and the global collapse of the financial systems happened, everyone thought this was the end. That head got wounded, but then it got healed. And the world was in amazement, like, whoa! This thing is better. Listen, we don't need paper money. That's the world being in amazement. That's the world wondering. So the fear will be there at first, but then comes what? The relief. The relief, and then when people are relieved that this thing is now back, comes the what? What comes after that? Acceptance and what? The submission. Let's go to James 5:1. We'll bounce back. James 5:1. We're trying to put you on to game right now. We're trying to put you in the game. James 5 and verse 1.
James chapter 5 and verse 1.
Read down to 3. Come on.
Go to now, ye rich men. Weep and howl for your miseries.
Weep and howl for your miseries.
That shall come upon you.
That shall. So it's coming. So you rich men who all you want to do is be rich. All you want to do is money, 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 money. Right? It says, for you men who are about that thing, it says miseries are going to come upon you. Read on.
Your riches are corrupted.
Stop right there. I got a question to ask. I want somebody. This is a game that me and my wife literally plays. Could someone, anyone, name for me any job that you could work today that you're making legit money from? It's legit. That doesn't go back to some form of that funding coming from chattel slavery. If you was to peel back all the layers, because there's people who say, you can absolutely work a job it's legitimate, it's integrous, it's a job of integrity. But if you peel back the layers, now my wife, she said to me, yeah, selling lemonade. Like, okay, if you're selling lemonade, right? In America, right? Who them lemons really belong to? Who them lemons really belong to? Who? Okay, good. So who stole the land? The Pilgrims. The Pilgrims came over in the 1600s. They came over from Britain, right? They came, what's that? What's the Cape that they came over? It was in the Massachusetts, right? Cape, what was it? Plymouth? It was Plymouth. And they landed there, and it's not like it was nobody there. You had a whole thriving community there. And thus, this community was like, wait, we kind of concerned, because they're coming with supplies off the boat. I mean, they come to stay. They ain't come to visit and say hi. They're coming with supplies off of the boat and they're setting up cabins. Now, of course, many of them died because when they first traveled, they came in November. And so the winter, the harsh winter of the East Coast during that period, sweltering, I can't use the word sweltering. Sweltering refers to heat. Rigid cold. Many of them died. Right? But the point that I'm making is America is stolen land. So no matter what job you try to think of, it goes back to bloodshed, slavery, oppression, stolen land. The scriptures show you that a land could only be cleansed when it got shed by blood through the shedding of more blood of those that stole it. That's what the scriptures literally say. So yes, we are working jobs. Yes, we're in oppression. But understand this. There is no job available today. Because the way the world runs and the systems that control it, there's no job that is an actual integrous job. None. Not your job. Not your job. None of our jobs. None. Because when you peel back the layers, it will show you who you work for, who exploits the job, who makes money off of it. There's no integrous job today. I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for that. No, General, we got integrous jobs. No problem, call me. And we'll peel back all the layers and you're going to realize, oh, wow, it really goes back to that? All the banks then really got started off of slave funding? Wow. Fishing? Okay, good. Who controls the fishing industry today?
You got people who sell fish themselves.
They got people who sell fish themselves, but who controls the fishing industry?
The government.
Okay, so the government implements what? Taxes. Okay, good. So no matter what job you work, it may seem integrous on the surface, but what I'm saying is once you peel back the layers, the foundation of it, there you go. Everything from your fishing boats to your fishing rods and everything that you need from the other nations, if you peel back the layers, all of it is tarnished and dirty. That's why it says it's going to be a new heaven and a new, so that everything could be replenished. So like jobs like what Soldier just mentioned could come back pure again. Purity. Good. So read on. Read verse 2.
Your riches are corrupted.
That's the point. Your riches are corrupted. So mind you, don't hear what we're not saying. We're not saying riches are bad, but these riches are corrupted from this world. Come on, read on.
Your garments are moth-eaten.
Read on.
Your gold and silver is cankered.
Your gold and your silver is cankered. Come on.
And the rust of them shall be a witness against you.
Shall be a witness against you.
And shall eat your flesh as it were fire.
Read on.
Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days.
So this is one of the ways that, this ruling system, it's trying to dominate by heaping together what? Treasure for the last days. Give me Habakkuk 2 and 6. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6.
Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him and say?
Good. So the prophet is now being answered, right, in a question that he asks about those that oppress. But now now he's getting the answer. He says, shall not all of these take up a parable against him? Against who's the him? The one who's been doing the oppressing. Who's the him? The one that's been putting these systems in place that oppress our people. So a parable will be taken up against him, saying what? Come on.
And a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth.
Okay, woe to him that increaseth. Come on.
That which is not his.
That which is not his. Because understand this. The major oppressive system of the world right now, Mystery Babylon, the way they make their wealth, and all of their finances and all of their treasures was by increasing wealth which was not his, stealing land, stealing people, exploiting people to work the land which was never theirs to make money for generations to come. Read on.
How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay.
Good. So how long? So the prophet was asking this question, but now it's being answered in this parable or in this wise saying. Come on.
Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee?
Read.
And thou shalt be for booties unto them.
Thou shalt be for booties unto the booties mean like spoils of war. Things that you get when you go and rob a people. All right? So you got to understand, all of what the oppressors took was by force. They took it by sheer brute force. All right? They oppressed, they stole, and that's how they gained their riches. But it's showing you that it says woe. It says woe unto him that increaseth which is not his. I mean, death and destruction is coming to the ones who have implemented those systems. All right? Good. And you got to understand, Edom is the wicked of the earth. So, of course, every system that they've implemented against the children of Israel and against the world, it isn't just the children, but against the whole world, have to abide by these systems. Death and destruction is coming to that nation. All right? Revelation 13 and verse 4 now.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 4. And they worshiped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast?
Who is like unto the beast? Come on.
Who is able to make war with him?
Wow. Who is able to make war with him? So it says, and they worship the dragon. So who we said the dragon is, Brother Daniel? Esau. There you go. But it says they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. So the beast is the systems. How did Esau give power to the system? Funding, resource, stolen land, stolen money, the resources that they heap up for themselves, they use it to go back into building up these systems. But it says they worship now the dragon. They worship the dragon. Right? And saying, who is like unto the beast? To these systems. Who could make war with them? This is going into the praise of their military dominance, their technology, being praised for it, being praised for their intelligence and their scientists and their wise men, and saying, man, these scientists are just amazing. They're groundbreaking, astounding scientists. Their medicine, they're being praised for that as well. Right? They're saying that these scientists now have the ability to clone human beings. Yeah. To replicate human beings without a sperm and an egg. And they're being lauded for this. They're being praised for this. The financial systems as well, they're going to be praised for it. They're going to say, man, when digital currency fully comes on stream, we're so happy that they did this because it makes transactions easier. It makes commerce easy. Okay? We have all of our information in one place, stored in one central location, and we can just pull it up on our translucent biometric, bioluminescent, clear patch that we got. They're going to be praised for it. And you're going to see people who you never thought would praise this thing. They would be praising the makers of it and praising the technology itself and saying this is the best thing since sliced bread. They're going to say, man, we're so happy that this thing came on stream. You understand? But they're going to say, who is able to make war with, who's able to come against this system? This system is so strong and so robust. In other words, even when they do the digital currency, they're going to say it won't be able to be cracked, penetrated, or hacked. Do y'all really believe that? Do y'all really believe that things cannot be hacked or penetrated? That is not true. Russia right now, they're studying all the systems of America. Okay? They're learning how to intercept things. They're learning also how to shut off certain mainframes from right over there in Russia. They're learning how to tap into their grid. How many of you know that America's grid ain't really as robust as they purport it to be? It's not as the grid that controls the power and everything that, runs America. It's not as robust as they would purport it to be. But they're being lauded for it and saying, man, it's so robust, it's so strong. Everything that they do, they trump it up. I use that word specifically. They trump it up. It's so amazing. Everything is great. Everything is just amazing. Everything is it's just the best it's ever been. It's the best. He just be talking, right? I think so. He just be talking. They trump it up. Who's able to make war with him? But I want... Quick question, Cap. I only want you just to name maybe just two. I didn't even want you to name all. Just name two for me nations that would give America a run for their money. Just give. Oh, you might work. Okay, go ahead. Just two. Only two. Who would give them a strong opposition for their money?
Right now, Russia and China definitely, and maybe Iran coming in third.
Wow. And mind you, that's only two strong ones, and then you got a strong contender after that. But read the last part of that verse.
Saying, who is like unto the beast?
Uh-huh.
Who is able to make war with him?
Who is able to make war with him? Because this is how they praise themselves. The book of Obadiah mentions, Obadiah chapter 1, it's only one chapter, that the pride of their heart has what? Deceived them. So Edom, they have a certain pride. They get praised for their military dominance. They get praised for the technology. They get praised for their intelligence and their scientists. They get praised for their medicine. They get praised for their finance. And the trust have now shifted completely from God to their systems by most people. All right? Let's get Psalms 20 and verse 7. Psalms chapter 20, verse 7.
Psalms chapter 20 and verse 7. Some trust in chariots.
Some trust in chariots.
And some in horses.
Some trust in horses.
But we will remember the name of the Lord our God.
We're going to remember the name of Yahweh. You understand that? Our trust is in the Most High God. And his name is Yahweh. That's who our trust is in. Baruch 3 and verse 12. The book of Baruch chapter 3 verse 12. Baruch 3, verse 12.
Baruch chapter 3 and verse 12. Thou hast forsaken the fountain of wisdom.
Good. So you have forsaken the fountain of wisdom, because through these passage of time and through these systems being implemented, our people have now what? Forsaken the wisdom that came from the Lord. The fountain of wisdom. Read on.
For if thou hast walked in the way of God,
if you kept God's commandments and walked in his way, come on,
thou shouldest have dwelled in peace forever.
You would have dwelled in peace forever. But because we broke the covenant, we what? We went into what? Oppression and slavery, and these systems and these beasts ruling over us now. Read on.
Learn where is wisdom, where is strength.
Learn where is wisdom and where is strength. Read on.
Where is understanding,
Uh-huh.
that thou mayest know also where is length of days and life, where is the light of the eyes and peace.
Read on.
Who hath found out her place, or who hath come into her treasures?
Who have come into her treasures, the treasures of wisdom. So what's the real treasures? What is the real treasures? Wisdom. Ah, there you
and
go.
understanding.
Good. So the systems that control the world would have you to believe that the real treasure is what? Heaping up what for yourselves? Material things, right? He transgresseth by wine, like Habakkuk says. He increases and heaps unto himself more and more and more. And who follows that same modus operandi today? All the other nations. Do you realize how everyone is influenced by Edom and how they do business and how they do things? Why? Why are they influenced by that? Because they realize how much that they have. And they realize the only way to probably get it is to be just like them. In the way that they do business, in the cutthroat way that they operate, just moving and operating like them. And you think that the American dream that they have is the American dream that you want. And they've seduced you and fooled you into thinking that this is your rest. When the book of Micah tells you that this is not our rest. Okay, you are not in your resting place. But many persons want to what? They think, well, just follow Edom's blueprint and you're going to have, riches and the nice, house with the... I'm not saying, because the book of Jeremiah says to do what? Build your houses, plant your gardens, yes, but you got to understand why you're here. So you're going to do that, yes, but your main focus is not that thinking that this is your rest. Be comfortable, yes. Pray to the Lord that he gives you enough to sustain in this captivity, yes. But you didn't come here so that this could be your kingdom. Okay? Good. So now, what verse was that? Good.
Verse 15.
The true treasures are wisdom. Go back to Revelation 13 and verse 5. The true treasures is the wisdom of God's commandments. You keep that, you're going to get eternal life.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 5.
Come on.
And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things.
Wow, a mouth. So this particular beast has a mouth that speaks great things. Come on.
And blasphemies.
And blasphemies. Things that are against God's word. Come on.
And power.
Power. Come on.
Was given unto him to continue 42 months.
To continue 42 months. When you read the book of Ezekiel, he was asked to lay on one side 390 days and lay on another side, right? A certain amount of days. And the Lord said a prophetic day is equal to a year. Again, a prophetic day is equal to a year. I'll get into that in another class, what those 1260 years is going into. Because when you add up how long Rome been ruling, Greece been ruling, and then how long America been ruling, you might be shocked to find out what's really going on with that verse. Understand? Rome been ruling for like what? 500 and odd years. Greece, 300 and some years, which leaves roughly about 450 something years. But I'll break that down in another class. I don't want y'all get too sidetracked. But now, it says here that mouth that was given to him to speak great blasphemies. All right? What verse was that? Verse 5? Read verse 6. Come on.
6. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God.
Blasphemy against God. Come on.
To blaspheme his name and his tabernacle.
And this tabernacle.
And them that dwell in heaven.
Them that dwell in heaven. Come on. Read on.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
To make war with the saints. Come on.
And to overcome them.
And to overcome them. Read on.
And power was given him over all kindreds.
All kindreds.
And tongues.
And tongues.
And nations.
And nations. So understand the beast, the power that it has, it's over all kindreds, tongues, and nations. Okay, so the blasphemy is going into how the system redefines truth, life, morality, family, worship. Okay? And now that war that I mentioned that you're in, that you don't, some of you may or may not know that you're a part of, that you're in the war, is going into the legal pressure, the economic exclusion, imprisonment, violence that will be waged against our people. And that is coming. It came before. It has always came. The prophets were persecuted. The apostles the same way. The men of the Lord, the children of the Lord that keep the commandments, persecution comes. Okay? And so, but what we were going into was showing you that the leopard-like nature of this beast is so stealthy. It's so elusive. Can anyone see how almost sneakily like these things that the beast implements, unless you're taught that the things that the beast implements are wrong, you would think that it's right? Unless you're taught otherwise, you would think that it's right. That's how elusive and leopard-like that beast is. Okay? Let's get Luke 21 and verse 12.
Luke chapter 21 and verse 12. But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you and persecute you.
Persecute you, come on.
Delivering you up to the synagogues and into prisons.
And into prisons. So understand this. Coming into this truth, this is a part of it. You will be persecuted. You will be delivered to synagogues and to prisons. Is part of being in the truth. Okay? Give me Revelation 20 and verse 4.
Revelation chapter 20 and verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. Mm-hmm. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded.
That were what?
That were beheaded.
So, martyrs. Go ahead, come on.
For the witness of Jesus.
For the witness of Yahushai, the Christ. So, being a martyr for Christ is being a strong advocate for this truth, right? And let me tell you something, for those persons who just want to live a very just subtle life, I want to have 1 foot in the truth, 1 foot in the world, right? The book of Revelation says to you that Christ mentions that those persons are what? Lukewarm, and thus he will spew you out of his mouth. So the scriptures also said, and Yahushua said this out of his mouth, he said, those of you looking to save your life will lose it. Okay? And those of you who give their life for this truth will gain life, eternal life. So I know many people, because of the westernized culture that we've been taught by the beast, of course. The beast teaches you what? Go to college, get an education. What else? What else? What's the American dream? Somebody tell for me the American dream. You go to college, get an education, get a nice job, get a 401k. What else? And get your family, and then live happily ever after. Question. Get your dream car, your dream house, whatever. Okay, cool. I got a question. Where's that in the scriptures? Somebody can tell me? Where we ever see that? Any of the men of the Lord, the apostles, the disciples, the prophets? Where was that in their scheme of things? Well, General, it's a new day, and, I think we could definitely, we could accomplish both. The scripture said different. I'm sorry. It says different, and we're going to show you it says different. But we've been indoctrinated by the beast. Why? Because the beast knows it has to in a very subtle way, stray you away from what the scriptures actually say. It says many of us going to be beheaded for Yahushai, the Christ. That's part of it. But then, if you could sway a people from being so staunchly advocating for the laws and Christ, if you could do that, then maybe what you can do is prevent a generation of the dry sleeping bones coming back to life. That is the whole plan, that these sleeping bones never come to life. Maybe if we pull the wool over their eyes enough and tell them that this American dream can be yours, that you stay sleeping all the days of your life and you never wake up. You understand? Give me Revelation. Okay, so you got that. Revelation 20 and 4. 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 70. Second Ezra.
2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 17. Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days. In the beginning of sorrows.
No, sorry. Second Ezra 16 and verse 70. Right? You got that?
2nd Ezra chapter 16 and verse 70. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection.
A great insurrection, a great upheaval. Come on.
Upon those that fear the Lord.
Upon those that keep God's commandments. So understand this. The Bible is showing you what's to come. The Bible is showing you that the war is not only just mental, spiritual, but it's also physical. Okay? There will be a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Go back to Revelation chapter 13 for me. Okay? Go back to Revelation 13 for me. Okay? And give me again verse 7 again.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 7.
Uh-huh.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
Stop right there. I wanted to focus on that. It was given unto him. It was given unto him. Who gave it unto the beast? Who gave it unto him? Okay, you said the dragon. Who gave the dragon its power? What's the precept for that? Is it in the book of Genesis somewhere that mentions what was one of Esau's blessings? That everything that the dew touches would be what? What's that? Y'all ain't connecting the precepts them together, man. Line upon line, precept. So in Genesis it mentions that when Esau cried and wanted his blessing, his father said, everything the dew touches will be yours, and you will take it by force with the what? With the sword. So when it says it was given to him, who gave it to him? The Most High. Why did he give it to him? To test the faith of the saints. So don't feel as though he took it by himself. Don't feel as though he illegitimately took it. The Lord gave him that power. Okay? The Lord gave the beast that power. So read on. So it was given to him to make war with, verse 7, it was given to him to make war with the saints. Come on.
And there was war in heaven.
No, verse 7. Revelation 13, verse 7.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints.
Good. So the war has been waged against our people. Did the war just start just now? No. The war against our people has been going on, but it will culminate. Read on.
And to overcome them.
And to what?
To overcome them.
To overcome them. Why do you think it was given to the beast to overcome them? Because part of you being in this truth is that your faith will be tested on such a high level that it's going to prove and it's going to separate the sheep from the goat. It's going to show you who really stood for the truth, who really was in this thing for real, who was just in it for just a fad or a fashion, or who really stood for the Most High for real. So the power that the Most High gave was to really see who deserves the kingdom, the power to overcome them. And what it shows you that some of you are going to be overcome. Some dangling, shiny things going to distract some of y'all. And some of you are going to go back into the world. And some of y'all are going to choose the world rather than choosing to stand for the Most High. And some of you, when the going gets tough and now the government starts making certain things law, you're going to choose to go with what they mandate as law and say, well, I got to look out for myself. I got to look out for my family. I got to look out for my children. And you're going to choose. You're going to realize you didn't stand. So the power was given to the beast to overcome them. Many of you will be overcome. I pray you don't. That's my prayer. I pray that you don't. I pray you stand firm. And I pray that everything that you're saying today, you stand firm in those words. That because some of you will say, hey, General, I'll never give up. I'll never give in. I pray those words really stand through the passage of time. I pray so. But hey, Judas also thought he would never give up and never give in. Because if you saw how Judas was around Yahushua, he had loved him. He was around him so much. He used to just sit down at the feet of Yahushua and just say, explain to me these parables. And he loved Yahushua the Christ so much, you would have never thought that Judas would have been the one to sell out Christ in the way he did. So I always watch those ones who move a little too, a certain type of way. You got to watch those ones. We will get into that another class. Give me verse 7. No, sorry, that was verse 7. So again, the war against the saints is going into the legal pressure, economic exclusion, imprisonment, and the violence that's going to come, where some of us will eventually have to be martyrs for this truth. Okay? Good. Give me Revelation 13 and verse 8 now. Jump down to verse 8.
Revelation 13 and verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life.
Wow, whose names are not written in the book of life. So all those who don't do the commandments are those who are going to worship the beast. Everyone gets that? By default, you worship the beast if you're not doing the commandments. Again, by default, you worship the beast if you're not doing the commandments. Read on.
Of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity
Read.
shall go into captivity.
Shall go into captivity.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Must be killed with the sword.
Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Good. So those without the covenant worship the beast unknowingly. Those who not doing God's commandments, or you didn't come back to the covenant, by default, you are worshiping the beast unknowingly. Because if you're not doing the commandments, you're relying on something else. Something else is your livelihood. And more than likely, it's going to be the beast. The things that the beast provides. Okay? So, when it comes to those who put his people in captivity, it says they're going to go into captivity. And those that control the systems of the world, a lot of these nations, their recompense is to go into captivity. Not just Edom. Because, many of us, we bring out this verse in reference to Edom. I mean, they have done it exponentially, bar none, maybe more than a lot of the other nations. All right, you still can't forget the Arabs, right? That's right, Cap, is the Arabs? Can't forget the Arabs. As a matter of fact, the Arabs have done it to our people even longer. So and they're still doing it to this day. So you can't forget the other nations. Don't just think Edom. A lot of the other nations, they're highly, in payment back to what the Most High says is going to happen to them. All right? Good. Let's get Psalms 50 and verse 5, because it says war with the saints, to make war with the saints. Who are the saints? Who are the saints? Psalms 50 and verse 5. Because people think the saints could be anybody. Let's see if that's so.
Psalms chapter 50 and verse 5. Gather my saints together.
Gather my saints together.
Unto me.
Unto me.
Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice.
Those who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So The saints are those who've made the covenant with the Lord by sacrifice. Who made a covenant with the Lord by sacrifice? The Israelites. Not all nations. Okay, good. So those are the saints. So when it says war against the saints, those who have made the covenant with him by sacrifice. But here's the thing. It gets even better. Let's break it down even more. Because those... Can you have wicked Israelites? Yes or no? Yes. Can you have Israelites who don't identify themselves as Israel? Is Israelite a religion? No. Is Israelite a bloodline? Yes. Israelite is a people. It's a bloodline. It's a lineage. So you can have Israelites who don't identify as Israelites and they're not keeping the covenant. The scripture says they will also be destroyed. You understand that? But now, for those Israelites who have made the covenant by sacrifice, in other words, those who have sacrificed to keep these laws, sacrificed to come back to the Most High's commandments, that's who the war will be waged against. Because if you're not keeping this covenant, remember, everything in this covenant strongly juxtaposes or opposes or contradicts what the beast has in place as a norm. The beast would tell you that homosexuality on your favorite show that you watch on Netflix or Hulu is absolutely normal. And they will tell you that two women laying in the bed together or two men laying together is normal. They open scenes with that. They open the beginning of your favorite show with two men kissing. And the beast will tell you that is normal. Through their subtlety of just easing it in bit by bit. That's how subtle leopards move, right? And so we were watching something the other day. Was it, we were watching some children's show, Sesame Street, with our daughter. And there was something that came on Sesame Street that kind of just cool and easy, just eased that thing in there that taught children. What was it again? They were teaching the children that it's okay. Was it? I don't think it was paganism. I mean, it all boils down to paganism. It was something very subtle, right? Was it being differently gendered? I can't really remember. It'll come back to me. But however, I said, wow, even in Sesame Street, from a very young age, they teach you it's okay for this thing to be that way. That you don't question it. You don't say, Mommy, Daddy, what's this? You don't question it. It's eased in there. And so, if you're not keeping the covenant by default, you would agree with the beast. Because you'll be living according to, now, how many of you before you came to the truth, you used to be like, well, homosexuality doesn't bother me as long as it's not being done in front of me. They could do whatever they want. They could live their life. It's okay. As long as you don't do it in my vicinity. Listen, when I was living in Toronto, I had to force myself to be okay with it. Like being around that kind of forces you to just have to be, it's so common, it's so thriving that you have to kind of put yourself in a mental space to be okay with it. Because there's nothing, I couldn't keep fighting. Listen, the first time I went to ATL and I went to IHOP, and a homosexual man came to serve me pancakes. And me coming from the Caribbean, it's like, yo, what the, what the, bonota chichi, right? I'm like, is this guy seriously serving me pancakes right now? So my friends are around the table and they're like, calm down. You can't do that here. I'm like, no, this is outrageous. And I'm trying to like make a little scene. They're like, listen, don't do that. People who handling your food and stuff, don't make a scene. They give you that secret special sauce in the back. Don't do that. I'm like, okay, you're kind of right. Let me just, but that was appalled. That was like, and that was the first time like seeing that, and it wasn't like a regular flagrant guy. When I say he was flaming, I mean he was so dripping in fruitiness, like with the handworks, the makeup, the eyes, what you call that? What you call this stuff that you put on your eyebrows? What do you call that? Mascara? Is that mascara? No, I'm wrong. What is this? The stuff that you put on your eyebrows? Pencil or whatever? Okay, pencil. What's the stuff that you put on your eyelashes? The mascara, right? He got on the mascara. The eyebrows are perfectly chiseled and tweezed. He got the contoured nose with the MAC makeup on, and he looking like a bad bee, right? He looking like a bad bee. And he come and he's like, you want syrup with that? I'm like, I don't want your syrup. Get it back out my face. I don't want your syrup, brother. They're like, Bones, chill. Like, what you? I'm like, I'm not used to this, okay? I'm not. So I say all that to say this. That was like a culture shock for me. You understand? And so by time, a couple of years later, I moved to Toronto. I'm seeing guys on the train making out with one another. Two guys, two men, just on the train, lip locking for the whole time that the train. Listen, if my train ride, right, from downtown to, going to Scarborough is like an hour and a half, they kissing for the whole time that I'm on the train. They ain't breathing. And I'm like, what's going on here? My mother was like, listen, it's you out there, you're going to see a lot of that, just chill. I'm like, I don't think I could get used to this. I don't think I could get accustomed to this. And so after like seeing that every day, I literally had to force and put myself in this headspace of, okay, you're going to see that all the time. So what I'm trying to say is the beast makes it palatable for you to accept it and just say, you know what? We're going to be accepting of it. As long as it's not in my house, I'm okay with you guys. And now, it's gotten to the point where, even now years later, if you go on any national syndicate television show, podcast, or if you're in society at a certain stature and you speak against any of these coalitions that have been formed, the LGBTQ community, you not only get cancelled, you lose your endorsements, you lose everything. And not only that, they wage a cancel culture against you and your entire family. And so now they want restitution. They want not only want an apology, in some cases, they take you to court. They take you to court and say that what you spoke was hate speech. You understand where I'm coming from? So the system has now put legalities in place. For what? For sin to thrive even more. Understand, this is what the beast does. That's the brute force. That's that bear's paw smacking you in the face. We're going to hit you with a lawsuit. Bam! You dare speak against the LGBTQ. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Shoot, I ain't even get into the small hats. I don't want to get into the small hats. Not on this class. Because they're part of the B system as well. Y'all know the small hats, right? They wear the yarmulkes. They control part of the beast as well. You see, Kanye had to go and apologize to them, right? Oh, yeah. Nick Cannon had to apologize to them, right? Oh, yeah. And then you got other artists now. They're so scared. They're like, oh, no, the small hats, we love them. We love them. They don't dare speak a word against the small hats. Because if you do, you know what's coming. You're going to lose your endorsements, lose your deal. Record label kick you off the label. Now you lost everything. Because the beast supports your lifestyle. The money and the fame and the riches, that's what it is. Okay, good. So those without the covenant, those that don't keep the laws, they unknowingly worship the beast. All right? Let's get Isaiah 33 and verse 1. Isaiah 33, verse 1. And many of your family members might unknowingly be serving the beast, worshiping the beast, in one mind with the beast, without even realizing or knowing. If you're breaking the Sabbath, you're in line with the beast. All right? For everybody that's out there breaking the Sabbath today, you're buying and you're selling out there today, you are in line with the beast system. Understand that. Read on.
Isaiah chapter 33 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled.
Good. So, in other words, those that spoiled, that took things by oppression, took things by stealing, took things by bloodshed, right? It says woe, meaning death and destruction is coming to them. Read on. But it says, and thou was not spoiled. In other words, does the nation of Edom and maybe some of the other nations as well, because they have not been recompensed for what they've done so far, doesn't it mean a recompense is eventually coming? They have not paid back for it yet, so it means it's coming. There you go. Read on.
And dealest treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled.
So when they stop stealing and looting and robbing and raping and taking by force and taking by bloodshed, when they stop is when it's going to be done back to them by the hand of our Lord and Savior, Yahushua the Christ, but he's going to be the one to enforce that thing. All right? So don't mind that this system, which is the beast, feels very oppressive right now. You can still operate, still like in the book of Jeremiah mentions, plant your vineyards, build your houses, ask the Lord to make you comfortable enough to pay your dues and pay your debts, but your thought process is not to benefit in terms of being a rich man or a rich woman in this filthy system that we live in, because it's coming down in a grinding halt soon. It's coming to a grinding halt. It's going to crash. That bubble will burst. Okay? You know what? I want to touch on something real quick. As I mentioned that, I want to go to Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. All right? Just to show you the mindset of some people who have agreed with the beast. Okay? Wisdom of Solomon 2. We went there earlier, but I want to just touch on maybe an earlier verse. Okay? Wisdom of Solomon 2. Start with verse 1.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 1.
Uh-huh.
For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves,
Uh-huh.
but not aright, our life is short and tedious.
Our life is what?
Short and tedious.
People who have agreed with the beast system and who have come to a certain understanding, they understand that life is short, life is very arduous and laborious, life is tedious, we in this captivity, right? Or, you know, some people say, we're not in captivity, we're making money. Watch this, read on. Life is tedious, we got to work hard to make our money. Come on.
And in the death of a man there is no remedy.
Read.
Neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave.
Read. So, because nobody came back from the grave, we only got one shot, one time to, what do they call it? YOLO? What do YOLO stand for? You only live once? Right. So, because you only live once, we're going to while out as much as we can. We're going to take everything, we're going to take life for everything it got right now. Read on.
For we are born at all adventure.
Uh-huh.
And we shall be hereafter as though we had never been.
Okay, read on.
For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke.
Good, the breath. They understand life is short. Come on.
And a little spark in the moving of our hat.
Good, read on. So, in other words, you're just here in between the dash, between your born and your die. It's a short time. Read on.
Which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes.
Good, read on.
And our spirit shall vanish as the soft air.
Read.
And our name shall be forgotten in time, and no man shall have our works in remembrance.
In the passage of time, people forget you after you've lived. Read on.
And our life shall pass away as a trace of a cloud, and shall be dispersed as a mist that is driven away with the beams of the sun.
Good.
And overcome with the heat thereof.
Continue.
For our time is a very shadow that passeth away.
Good. So the people who are in agreement with the beast system, right? They understand life is short. Read on.
And after our end there is no returning, for it is fast sealed.
Come on.
So that no man cometh again.
Continue.
Come on, therefore,
Come on, therefore. Come on.
let us enjoy the good
Woo!
things,
Let us enjoy the what?
the good things that are present.
This is some people right now. Let's enjoy, the good things that are present. Let's live life for now. Let's live life for today. Let's live life in the moment. YOLO, right? Read on.
And let us speedily use the creatures like as in youth.
You know what that's talking about? The things that the beasts provide, let's use those things to our benefit. Read on.
Let us fill ourselves with costly wine
Wow, the best of the wines. Let's do that. Come on. Most extravagance of everything. Read on.
and ointments,
Ointments. Come on.
and let no flower of the spring pass by us.
This is that live just for today mentality and modus operandi. Just live for today. Life is short. Go out with a bang. Do it all the way. Do it up all the way to the sky. We only got one shot, one kill, one time to do this. We ain't coming back. Let's just live life for its worth. And what it's worth is just material things. That's what it's going into. That's those persons who agree with the beast way of how life should be. Is this the way life should be? You just live for no other reason other than material things and material gain and vanity because life is short? Should that be the way that life should be? No. But that's those who have agreed with the beast system. That is what the modus operandi is. Read on.
Let us crown ourselves with rosebuds before they be withered. Let none of us go without his pat of our voluptuousness. Let us leave tokens of our joyfulness in every place.
Read on.
For this is our portion, and our lot is this.
Oh, so they think that this is their rest. This is their portion. This is their lot. So they're going to give it all they got. They want the world and for everything it's got. And some of you, I pray that this is not your mentality. And if it was, I pray that you come out of it. Because it says the saints, you saw that they got beheaded for the Most High. They got beheaded for the sake of Christ. Right? They came here to do what they had to do for the truth, not for the world. This is talking about those who live for the world. Those who are going to run away from the persecution. Who are going to run away from being in the truth for real, for real. Who want to be in the truth just for a fad, for a fashion. You're just here to just take the world for the worldly things for what it has. That's not what this life is about. Because Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 says, this is the whole duty of man. That we keep his commandments. That we fear God and keep his commandments. Two things. Fear God and keep his commandments. That's Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. That's the whole duty of man. That's why you're here. You ain't here to endow yourself with all of these worldly accoutrements. Those are just the byproducts of when you're serving God. He will bless you with things. That's the byproducts of keeping the commandments. He will bless you with things. You're not here primarily to do that. What the scriptures was. Read on. Watch this. Read on.
Let us oppress the poor righteous man.
Because now you become part of the beast system that oppresses God's people. And you could be a part of it even if you're Israelite or not. You could be a part of the system that oppress our people. Some of you work for many companies that oppress our people. Some of you work for some systems and some processes and some institutions that heavily put their foot on our people's neck, and you know it, but because you get a salary and you get to buy things on Temu and you get to pay for your bills and you feel good. Well, I'm just doing a job. I'm just doing a job. But the job that you have oppresses people because you're part of that beast system. All right? Let's get back to Revelation 13. Give me verse 8 again.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him.
Shall worship him.
Whose names are not written in the book of life.
Those who are not doing the commandments by default, they worship the beast. Read on.
Of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear.
Come on.
He that leadeth into captivity.
Those nations that lead our people into captivity.
Shall go into captivity.
Their recompense is to go into captivity. Read on.
He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
Good. Let's jump down to verse 11.
Verse 11. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth.
So another beast now, John the Revelator is seeing come up out of the earth. This is another beast. Again, another beast. All right? Another beast. Read on.
And he had two horns like a lamb.
Now this had two horns like a lamb. Read on.
And he spake as a dragon.
Spoke as a dragon. Read on.
And he
Remember, sorry, these are similes, metaphors, and allegories. Read on.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast,
To worship the first beast. Come on.
whose deadly wound was healed.
Oh, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that. Remember there was a beast that got wounded, but then got healed? What we said that was? Who remembers? The financial system.
That's right.
When he got wounded, that's when the economy halted and crashed and came to a grinding halt. When he got healed is when digital currency came back on stream, more stronger, more robust. All the people were amazed at it. All the people wondered. But it says now, read that again for me, verse 12. It exercised all of the power of the first beast before him. Come on.
And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him,
Come on.
and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast.
To worship the first beast. So this other beast that's coming up out of the earth is causing them to now worship those that worship the first beast. It says now, right? Watch this. Whose deadly wound? Watch this.
Whose deadly wound was healed.
Good. So it's causing them to worship that beast that was wounded and got healed. This beast, again, I'm going to say it slow for you. This beast that he saw coming up out of the earth, this system that he saw coming up out of the earth, causing them to worship that beast that got wounded and now healed. Now let me see who's thinking. Who's thinking? Which beast or system causes you to worship finance and money? If you get this, then y'all thinking TOC. Which system out of the 7 beasts that we talk about? Right?
America.
No.
Rome.
I mean, America isn't one of the 7 beasts. America is the foundation on which the beast stands, is the earth in which it comes out of. But I'm talking about this beast is causing them to worship finance. Remember that finance is the arm that, the head that got wounded, then it got healed. It's going to come back more robust. That's the healing, the digital currency. But now this beast is causing everyone to worship that first beast. What causes you today? What tells you it's okay to worship money? You want money. You need riches. You need. They relegate riches to godliness. They relegate riches to being righteous. Religion, thank you. Which religion though? Christianity. Okay, TOC. Y'all see how the scriptures make sense when it's broken down for you? But it's causing them to worship that beast, that first beast that got wounded. Okay, good. Read on.
And he doeth great wonders.
He doeth great wonders.
So that he maketh fire come down from heaven.
Makes fire come down from heaven.
On the earth in the sight of men.
In the sight of men. Read on.
And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
He had power to do these miracles in the sight of the beast. Come on.
Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast.
That they should make an image to the beast. Come on.
Which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Which had a wound by the sword that did live. Come on.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And the image of the beast should both speak.
Should both speak.
And cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Should be killed. So now we're going to break it down, all right? So now, when it comes to that first, now read it again. We're going to break it down slow for you now. Go ahead.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast,
Good. Onto the image of the beast. Read on.
that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
No, I want you to read for me. Give me verse 11 again.
Verse 11.
Uh-huh.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth,
Watch this.
and he had two horns like a lamb.
Like a lamb, like a lamb. Now, who's the lamb that's been slain before the foundation of the earth? Yahushua the Christ. Good. But if it says it like a lamb, so in other words, it's imitating the lamb. But it's not a lamb. It's not a lamb. Read on.
And he spake as a dragon.
Stop right there. But he spake as a what?
A dragon.
So you already know who the dragon is. Who is the dragon? Who is the dragon?
Esau.
Good. So Esau has found a way to imitate the lamb. How has Esau found a way to imitate the lamb? By creating, it says that they would make an image of the beast. How did Esau imitate the lamb? Cesare Borgia. His father, Rodrigo Borgia, paid what? Many thousands of dollars to paint his son as the image of what? The image of the Christ, who's Revelation chapter 1 and verse 13 and 14 says, his head and his hairs were white like wool, and his skin was like unto burnt brass. That's Negro colored skin. And yes, it is his glorified state, which is even better. But what I'm saying is this. They made an image to that. Right? And that image to that is a counterfeit image. So the appearance, it's like a lamb, but it's really the dragon. You know, when you're watching Scooby-Doo, and at the end of Scooby-Doo episodes, they take off the mask and say, aha, I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you sneaky Israelites. It was me, Esau, all this time. I'm the dragon that the Bible speaks of. You didn't realize because since the 1400s, that painting of Cesare Borgia, type it in on your Google images right now. Those of you at home, type in Cesare Borgia, you're going to see the image of what the world thinks is Christ. That's the image. All right? That's the appearance of Christ that it's imitating. But it's not Christ. Christ is a dark-skinned, melanated, bronze-colored skinned man. All right? Good. So now, give me Matthew 24 and verse 5. Matthew chapter 24, verse 5.
Matthew chapter 24 and verse 5.
Come on.
For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ.
Saying, I am Christ. So many did come in his name doing that. Many persons said that they are Christ. You had paintings of Christ. You had the famous white painting today that you think is Jesus Christ. That's not Jesus Christ. That's a man called Caesar Borgia. Read on.
And shall deceive many.
No, it's going to deceive a little bit of persons.
And shall deceive many.
Shall deceive many. Many of your grandmothers had that image of white Christ on their walls, and you thought that was Jesus Christ. You thought, right? But it's not. Sorry, his head and his hairs were white like wool, and his feet like unto burnt brass. That's Revelation 1, verse 13 and 14. All right, good. Give me Micah 3, verse 11. Micah 3, verse 11. Micah 3, verse 11.
Micah chapter 3 and verse 11. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire.
The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests teach for hire. Right? So, how does this beast that came out of the earth cause persons to worship money, worship finance? Because part of the doctrine that came with the image of white Christ Because remember, Rome, when Rome succeeded Greece and took over Greece, they implemented one of the world's harshest taxation systems. And so Rome trumped up, taxation, finance, like their finance systems were out of this world. And so now, today, that image, that white image of Jesus Christ, the doctrine that it comes with, is called prosperity gospel. Again, prosperity gospel. And it's running rampant throughout the earth. And what do I mean by that? They liken gain to godliness. They liken gain to righteousness. The more money you have, the more spiritual you are. The more money you have, the more righteous you are. And so even now the priests, they now teach what? Now the scripture says you're not supposed to sell the truth. It says to sell it not. Sell it not. It says to get the truth, but sell it not. Gain the truth, but don't sell it. But now these priests today, they do what? They sell it. Now, when you think of men like T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, who else? Joel Osteen. To get them to speak at any convention, they charged thousands of dollars. You understand that? Look, go inside some of these churches now. I know some of you can say, oh, General, not all of them. Listen, I saw an Israelite organization go inside of Geno Jennings' church the other day. How many of y'all saw that video? Some of the captains and stuff like that went to speak with some of the elders in there. And of course, they denied them. But however, they went inside there. And inside there, it looks like a coliseum. You understand? In there, you could tell the kind of accoutrements that's in there. It is absolutely just based on just money. The other thing is, you go into some of these other churches, you could tell they're dripping in money. So read it again. It says, the heads thereof judge for reward.
The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for hire.
The priests teach for hire. The gospel of prosperity is something that is running very rampant. The prosperity gospel. All right? Money. You see some of these pastors, they drive around in Bentleys. They drive around in Cullinans. They drive around in Rolls Royces. Right? They're going on, they got their own private jets. That's what this is going into. All right? Give me 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 8. Let me show you how you're supposed to be in this truth. For those of you who got aspirations of being rich. I just want to be a rich man. I just want money. 1 Timothy, all right, chapter 6, verse 8. We'll read down to 12.
1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse 8. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content.
So if you got food and you got clothes, be content. You are blessed. There's some people with no food, with no clothing. Right? If you got food, you got clothing, be content. Read on.
But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare.
So wait, it says they who are aspiring to be rich, they will fall into temptation. What makes you think you're going to be any different? What makes you think you're going to be the lucky one to just escape the temptation? Read on.
And into many foolish and hurtful lusts.
So many foolish and hurtful lusts. Because if you think of it this way. If you had $10 billion right now at your disposal, what would you go and do? You had it free and clear. It's in your bank account right now. You got 10 billion US dollars. What's the first thing you do? Some of you will kill yourselves in the matter of 12 months. Some of you will go buy so much pure cocaine that you don't know what to do with. And snort yourself. Some of you will go buy whores. Some of you will reach down by the whorehouse so far, so fast, so quick. Now them whores would just love to see you come in. Because you come in and you giving out money like it's raining there. You hear the train in there? Well, rain in there. You making it rain. Right? Because money without righteousness equals moral decay. Stop thinking, oh, you throw money at anything, that solves the problem. There's a lot of old people had money, but they fell into moral decay. They fell into mischief because they had no sense of morality. Read on.
Which drown men in destruction and perdition.
So, which drown men in destruction. You can get drowned in destruction because you now have access to everything you ever wanted. Read on.
For the love of money is the root of all evil.
No, it didn't say money is the root of all evil. It said the love of money is the root of all evil. Because when you love money on that level, it means you would do anything for it. You would sell out, you would compromise and sell out your very morals, your integrity, the things you stand for, the things you should be standing up for. You now cow down and you you turn a blind eye to and a shut up ear to now, because money is the thing that makes you, okay with certain things. But it says the love of money is the root of all evil. Read on.
Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith.
They have erred from the faith. So this is talking about people that were in the truth. So stop thinking just because you're in the truth and you become a millionaire tomorrow means you're going to stay in the truth. It says many have erred from the faith because of that. Read on.
And pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
With many, many sorrows. Right? How many of you heard stories of people who won the lottery? They say they're more miserable after they won the lottery than before. How many of you heard those stories? You've never? So you thought the people that won the lottery, they're good? No? Let me tell you what happens. Let me just explain to you what happens. You win the lottery. You've now got more money than you've ever had before in life. Your mentality is this. This money will never ever run out. And so I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm helping this family, that, I'm doing it all. The money is not productive. The money doesn't make money. Right? And so what happens is the money's on a steady decline. But not only that, Cap, you go and purchase things that you cannot what? It begins with an M. Okay, I like that word, manage. There's another M word. When you buy a car, you have to what? It begins with M. You have to do what? Otherwise, it's going to be broken down and you're not going to be able to drive it. What you have to do to a car when you get a car? Maintain it. So you go and you purchase things that you cannot maintain. And because the cost to maintain it is more than it costs for you annually than what you're making annually, you're now in a what? Deficit. So you thought by just getting a lottery winning means that all of your problems are now solved. But if you go on YouTube, just search for this. Lottery winners who are now in ruin. So search for that. You're going to see all these stories that come up that say, everyone who won the lottery, or most of them, they're in a very bad space right now. And they wish they never won the lottery. Absolutely. Look at it. It's going to teach you some things. All right? But now it says, pierce themselves through with many sorrows. Verse 11.
But thou, O man of God, flee these things.
Flee these things, come on.
And follow after righteousness.
Follow righteousness. Read on.
Godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness.
So good. So you want to follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness. Don't follow after riches. If the Lord blesses you with riches, all praises to the Most High, but you weren't following it. That wasn't your first priority. If the Lord blesses you, all praises. But don't set out for that to be what you're trying to attain in life. You're going to pierce yourself through with many, many sorrows. 100% guaranteed. The word shows you that. And life proves it as well. All right? I've seen some people, listen, their number one goal was to be rich and to get money. And some of them, they succeeded. But if you know the kind of things that they had to do. Okay, for instance, there's some women. They told themselves, I am going to rise to the top of that corporation. And they did it. Do you know how they did it? They had to let down with a lot of managerial positions to get that corporate top job. A lot of old, crusty men had to breathe in their face for them to get it. But for some women, they don't care. They got the top job. They're making $380,000 a year, $500,000 a year, top corporate job. But how many times you had to sell your soul, lay down on your back to do that? How many bosses you had to sleep with? How many supervisors you had to sleep with? How many men you had to lay down with and go home to your man and say, "Oh, I had to work late today." You know, there's a lot of positions changing at work, and so things are shifting around, so I had to stay back after work today. But don't worry, we're getting a bonus this year, baby. We're getting that bonus. You see that? That's what happens. And that destroys marriages. But she's not thinking about that. She's thinking about, I need to get ahead in life. I got to buy that new car. We got to upgrade our home. You fall for the okie doke. You understand? Good. What verse was that? 12? Good.
Verse 12.
Good. Go back to Revelation 13. Give me verse 16.
Revelation chapter 13 and verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Read on.
And that no man might buy or sell,
save
he that had the mark,
except he that had the mark,
or the name of the beast,
or the name of the beast. Come on.
Or the number of his name.
Or the number of his name. Read on.
Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man.
It is the number of a man. Come on.
And his number is 666.
His number is 300. Come on. Sorry, 600. Come on.
Three score. And I looked, and lo.
Good. Stop right there. Good. 6. So that's 6, 6, 6. Right? It says it's the number of a. It's the number of a. Read on.
A man.
A man. Good. Read on.
And I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on Mount Zion. And
no. That's Stop at.
That's it.
Verse 18. Yes. Yeah. 600. 6. So now, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count that number. It says to count that number. Calculate that number. Tally up that number. What is that number? It says it's the number of a man. We just learned earlier that the red dragon is Esau. He implements systems. He implements that beast system that controls the world. Right? That man, that's his number. How do you know that's his number? Now, the mark, just for breaking down purposes, is talking about enforced compliance. When it comes time for that beast to get wounded, but then it won't die. It will come back on stream. Digital coin, digital currency, fiat currency will go down. And so now they won't be using any more paper money when that time comes. And so now you'll be using digital coin, digital cash, all on your bioluminescent clear patch that many people say, no, it's not that. They got chips already. Yes, their chips are ready. Yes. They're on your bank card. They're everywhere. But this is a different type of control. You understand? It's going to be worn like a clear patch that you won't even be able to see. But what we're talking about is enforced compliance, enforced control for commerce. All right? So now, you won't be able to buy or sell with that thing. You need it. Your boss will pay you in that. It goes straight to your account. It's loaded onto your account. All right? When you walk into the financial institutions, it will pick up your scan reading like, when you're going through the airport. If there's things in your pockets, you hear beep, 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 beep. It's a scan reader. You won't have to scan for everything. It can pick you up. But if you don't have what you need on you, it will also pick that up. Beep, 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 beep. This person don't have, okay, escort him out of the building. All right? Give me Zechariah 13 and verse 8. Zechariah 13, verse 8. Zechariah 13, verse 8.
Zechariah chapter 13 and verse 8. And it shall come to pass.
It shall come to pass.
That in all the land,
all
said
the
Lord,
land, come on.
2 parts therein shall be cut off and die.
2 parts therein will be cut off and die. Come on.
But the third shall be left therein.
But the third shall be left therein. So, what's going to happen is 2/3 of our people, they're going to get cut off. That's 2/3. Now, somebody do me a favor. Pull out your calculator right now and do that calculation for me. 2 divided by 3. 2/3. That's the 2 over 3. Divide that.
0.666.
0.666. Okay, good. It says that's the number of a man. We just read that in Revelation. So that number is in representation, direct correlation to how many people will be cut off and die, who will follow his system, rely on the system, rely on the beast, rely on the world systems that have been set in place by the beast and follow that. They're not going to keep the covenant. They're not going to keep God's laws. They're not going to keep the Sabbath day. They're not going to keep the feast days. They're not going to wear their fringes and, they're not going to be doing none of these commandments. They're going to be eating pork, shrimp, crab, lobster. They're going to be going to Sunday church. They're going to follow along with the beast system. They're going to take their bioluminescent chip. They're going to do commerce when it comes time to do digital currency. They're going to follow along just like the sheep that they are and follow everything that the system tells them to do. And they're going to put their trust in the system. But it says 2/3 of our people are going to fall into that category. 2/3. And that's the number of the man that they're going to inadvertently follow. Because by default, if you're not doing the covenant, you're following the systems that Esau has put in place. Esau, the red man? Right. But it says 1/3 shall be left therein. That's the 1/3 that's going to comply with God's laws. The 1/3 that's going to actually, say, you know what, I'm going to repent and come back to all these commandments. That's the 1/3. So, yes, 1/3 is less than 2/3. I understand. Yes, it may feel kind of depressing that 2/3 of our people will be destroyed, but it's what's written. It has already been written. We cannot say, well, I don't believe that. Well, watch it play out, because you saw back in 2020. And you know this Bible is real? Back in 2020, you saw how many people went along with that mandate that they put in place. And that was just a pre-testing, just to see what's going to be the response of the people once we put that, out there into society. What's going to be the response? And so the majority of persons says, I will go and take the medicine. Many of those people have already died. You've seen they're coming down with something called what? Hyper cancer. Or what you call it? Turbo cancer. Turbo cancer is a thing right now where people under the age of 50 and under are coming down with cancer rapidly. And they're linking it back to the medicine that was taken back in 2020. Mind you, the system came out, the beast came out and said, the medicine is safe. The medicine is the thing you need to get back out to work with. You cannot go back out to work without the medicine. And everyone said, you know what, maybe the system is right. The scientists them said there's nothing wrong with it. Even though there was some doctors saying, hey, hello, something is wrong with this. It was made too quickly. They did an all-out launching campaign. That's that lion's mouth that's mentioned in Revelation 13. That lion's mouth came out and said, no, they're wrong. And they put out campaign after campaign after campaign with a strong voice saying, anyone you hear saying that the medicine is wrong, you can put a lawsuit against them. Furthermore, if anyone is on YouTube saying that the medicine is wrong, what they do to the video? Take it right down. We had one of our videos back in 2021 taken right down. It says, this video violates the rights of our community standards and policies of the CV19. They flag it because it has bots that listen for certain keywords that come out in these videos. And once it goes against their narrative, they take it down. That's how we know this Bible is real. Because everything that it says is going to happen, happens. That's how we know it's real. It's just that you've allowed one of the arms of religion to fool you. Modern day Christianity has fooled you into thinking that what they teach. And that's why so many people have lost interest in the Bible, lost interest in the truth, because that arm of the beast, which is religion, they have been set up to sway the masses, sway the people, keep you asleep. You understand? Give me Revelation 14 and verse 12. Revelation 14, verse 12.
Revelation chapter 14 and verse 12. Here is the patience of the saints.
Here is the patience of the saints.
Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus.
And the faith of Yahushua the Christ. So it says this is the patience. This is what we are patiently waiting for. All right? We know that those who keep these commandments, we've been promised eternal life. Don't buckle in and give in to what the system is demanding of you. What that beast system has. We learned earlier in the class, what controls that beast system is totally juxtaposed and opposed to God's laws. All of it. Now you have things like one of the arms of the beast is technology. You got AI videos where people genuinely believe it's real. How many of you got fooled from an AI video recently? Listen, Matt Barnes, ex-NBA player. He's suing someone for this video that came into his inbox. Beautiful girl, beautiful lady. She looked real. And she's dressed scantily clad and she said, I like you. And he's like, wow, are you a model? She's like, yes. And the video of the girl looks so authentic, Cap. It looks so real. It looks like a real person. And the thing is somebody behind that computer, behind that device, trying to pilfer money out of Matt Barnes. And so guess how much money they were able to pilfer out of him? $680,000 out of ex-NBA player Matt Barnes. And he came out on Club Shay Shay and he said he wants to make everyone aware of these type of scams that's going on, that these AI generated videos, they look so real, but they're out here pilfering money. Now, mind you, he had to take a lot out of him to say that, because, you know, he had to also admit to certain things as well. Because his wife was like, wait, we were together during that time? Well, you mean you was online talking to this AI girl and you gave her how much of our money? Yeah, 600,000. So he had to answer for that and say, well, it wasn't me. It's really her. She told me she was in need. She told me that she going through something and I was just trying to help her. But she's the one that scammed me out of the money. You understand? And so that's one of the arms of the beast. The technology, it will deceive many. It will fool many. But I'm not saying we cannot use technology to our advantage. You can to some degree. We use it because many of you watching the class right now, you're watching it via the live stream. Correct? Good. Just let me know how much more time we got on it. I'm about to wrap up soon. Just let me know how much more time we got. And so many of you will be deceived. All right? Into thinking that the things that the system fabricates or duplicates, that it's real. And many of you will be duped, like the scriptures say, and deceived from the false religion. That's one of the arms of the beast. Technology, education. And so now, with the education that they give you, and for those of you, like I mentioned last couple class, please, if you can, get your children homeschooled. Get your children homeschooled, because what they're teaching them in schools right now, it's very, very, very crazy. All right? Get your children homeschooled. If you can, if you have the ability to do so. Okay? Good. So now, the war is real. It's being waged against our people. Some of you may have realized, some of you may have not. But it's very real, and these sister saints are targeted. You know who the saints are. Those who have made a covenant by sacrifice to the Most High God, the Israelites. So you got to endure faithfully unto death. Okay. You got to endure faithfully unto death. Don't ever give up. Don't ever give in. Endure to the end. That is what the scriptures say. Yes, we're in a war, but we're going to fight. Don't give in to what the beast has normalized. Because the education system, it has been normalized. What you're learning in schools, that's not what you should be learning. What you're learning from religion, that's not what you should be learning. Technology is duping our people out here. Our world lives off of ChatGPT right now. Now, you can use ChatGPT to compile things, put things in lists, but don't you dare get your information from ChatGPT. My wife was filtering something through ChatGPT the other day, and she was like, babe, look at this. This here just told me a scripture that doesn't exist. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, let me see. I was like, wow, this is not in the script. So ChatGPT will fool you. Stop relying on it. What you do is use ChatGPT to put things in lists for you that you've already looked up for yourself. Everyone, look up these things for yourself. Takes the work. Yes, it takes a little extra work, but don't be lazy. Don't be like, I'm going to let ChatGPT just do it for me. That's what the beast wants you to do. Allow it to think for you so that you don't think for yourself. Okay? So remember those systems that I mentioned to you about the beast? Political systems, the technology systems, the food systems of the world. I didn't even get into that in this class, but they poison you through food. The educational system, the financial system, it will crash. They're going to go into digital currency. All right? The religious system, modern day Christianity and other religions that sway us from the truth. All of these I will get into more detail on in the coming weeks, but this is what you must be aware of. All right, Israel? So we want to thank you for joining us today on today's class, The War Against the Saints. All praises to the Most High. And, Israel, just be vigilant. Stay on, on alert. Watch and pray. All right? All praises to the Most High. We're going to sign out. Don't forget to give your alms, your donations, your offerings. The description is there below for you to give, whether you're local or overseas. We have PayPal as well as Mo Banking. All praises. So with that, we're going to close out, Israel. Stay blessed. Stay in the spirit. Be vigilant. Stay prayed up and stay in a state of fasting and praying. All praises. And with that, we're going to close out. All praises to the Most High. Shalom.